Welcome to the second video about impact in Erasmus Plus projects. This video is part of a series of 4 videos which will support you in achieving more impact with your Erasmus Plus project. In the previous video, we gave you a better understanding of what impact is. In this video, we will guide you through the steps of how to define impact in your project design. In the third video, we will tell you more about how you can monitor and evaluate the impact of your ongoing project. The fourth and final video is about managing for impact. How can you manage impact during the implementation of your project? These videos are not standalone. They are linked to the Erasmus Plus Impact Handbook. Each video links to one of the chapters, so if you want to dive deeper into the content, we strongly recommend that you read the handbook. Additional reading materials and links are also shared in the handbook. You can find the Impact Handbook on our website, and we will share the link to the Impact Handbook at the end of this video. First, a small recap of the key messages of video 1. Every Erasmus Plus project aims to achieve a variety of results. We call these outputs, outcomes, and impacts. So results are not only outputs such as deliverables, services, or products a project produces, but also how these outputs are used by your target groups or direct beneficiaries. These results are called the outcomes of a project. The outcomes contribute to broader long-term changes, which we call impacts. Impacts are usually linked to one or more of the horizontal or sector-specific priorities. By describing these different types of results, you can maximize the success of your project while contributing to meaningful and lasting transformations in individuals, your organization, the education sector you work in, and in society as a whole. We have a number of objectives we want to achieve with this second video. First of all, we want you to think about impact during the design process of your project and make sure you know what steps to take to define your desired impact properly so you can include them in your project application form. Secondly, we would like to stimulate you to think outside of the box instead of repeating old ideas and doing the same things as before. In this video, we will teach you how to incorporate impact into your project design and how to develop your dream or vision. We will then show you how to determine who and what needs to change in order to achieve your desired impact and what innovative actions you will need to develop to achieve this. Thinking about and managing for impact is not something that should happen after the project ends. It should start right from the moment you start thinking about applying for Erasmus Plus funding. In other words, it should be included in the design of your project. In this video, we will guide you through the process of fully integrating impact into your project design. Here we see someone making something. We don't know yet what the product will be, or for whom and for what purpose it is being made. If you don't know yet who will be using the product, you can make anything you like. You will probably create a similar product to what you have made before. However, if you know who will be using the product and for what purpose, it will be easier to define exactly what kind of product should be made. You will make something that fits the needs of the person who will be using it. Your creation will therefore become more relevant to your intended user. And maybe this means that you will have to make something you've never made before. In other words, if you know what kind of impact you want to achieve and what behavior people need to change to make this impact a reality, you can better define what type of products you should deliver and thus what kind of project activities you will need to implement. Here you see the project design form as developed by the national agency in the Netherlands. This form covers all different types of project results, impacts, outcomes, and outputs. The form can support you in designing your project. We encourage you to download this project design form and to use it to structure your thoughts around your project design. You can download this form on our website, and you can find the link to the project design form at the end of Chapter 2 in the Impact Handbook. In the handbook, there are 2 possible approaches for an impact-oriented project design. Approach 1 starts with defining impact and then reasons backwards. Approach 2 starts with defining your activities and then moves towards impact. There are advantages to both approaches. The main advantage of Approach 1 is that it will best support you in working in an impact-oriented manner, meaning that you will start designing your project with its intended impact in mind. This can therefore lead to more innovative and relevant project activities. Approach 2 is considered easier, and especially useful when designing smaller projects. In this video, we focus on Approach 1. But how do you define impact? Let's look at some more detailed steps you need to take when following Approach 1. In Approach 1, you start from the impact. We also call this your dream or vision. In other words, what would you ideally want to achieve and contribute to in the long term with your project? After defining the impact, you will determine who needs to change to make this vision a reality. This is often a broader group of stakeholders than only the direct beneficiaries or target groups of the project. After defining the behavioral changes of key stakeholders, you determine the necessary outputs and activities. Of course, as a last step, you will have to check the logic. You could ask questions such as, will conducting the activities lead to the outputs? Will the outputs lead to the intended outcomes, which means a change at a level of key stakeholders? If one of these questions cannot be answered with yes, then you should make some adjustments to your logic. You might need other activities, other outputs, or other outcomes. Let's now focus on step 1. Describe your dream or vision. Developing a dream or vision is like painting a picture of the ideal future. In developing a clear vision of the desired future situation, it is important to be specific and clear about whose future you are talking about. Is it the future of society, the future of individuals, the future of an organization, or a combination? Once it is clear and agreed on whose future is concerned, you may become more specific about what kind of future you aim to contribute to. This is the issue the project aims to address and improve. You want this issue to be sufficiently big, a longer-term, higher-level ambition that your project will contribute to, something broader than what the project itself can deliver. Examples of dreams and visions for Erasmus Plus projects are, for organizations, a higher level and quality of education, sustainability in education systems, and inclusion and gender equality. For individuals and societies, improved employment opportunities, and a European mindset. To check if your vision or dream is a good one, you can apply the following criteria. A good vision or impact is all of this. It is big, ambitious, inspiring, it provides direction, it unites, and it is visible in your mind. And the dream will need to link to the Erasmus Plus horizontal and sector-specific priorities, as well as the priorities and policies of your organization and the needs of your target groups. The second step, after focusing on impact, is to define what and who needs to change to achieve your impact. These are called your outcomes. Let's go back to the project design form we showed you before. Once you have an idea of what your impact should be, you can start defining your outcomes. We believe that for any social change to happen, and thus for achieving impact, people will need to do things differently. This can be a change made by school teachers, sports instructors, community members, students, volunteers, or politicians. But no matter what person or stakeholder this is, behavioral changes are always necessary for achieving impact. Some examples are teachers implementing new teaching methods, students engaging in cleaning up the school, or seniors participating in community activities. When identifying outcomes, you can ask the following questions. Who needs to change? What does this actor need to do differently? And why is this important for realizing the dream? All of this together becomes an outcome statement. Actor A, for example, a person or a group of people, is doing this or that differently, which means that, and so you link back to the dream. Let's show some examples of outcome statements. School teachers develop new teaching methods so that a more inclusive school culture is enhanced. The university allocates additional resources for learning actions that will promote sustainability. Parents belonging to minority groups develop language skills so that they can more easily support the education of their children and their participation is enhanced. Students participate in Erasmus Plus exchange programs to learn about the Erasmus Plus priority areas, such as environment, so that they can apply this knowledge in their own lives. Youth workers attract marginalized young people to practical workshops so that these people are more included in democratic activities. The main reason why we want to stimulate you to think about impact and outcomes first is that it can open your mind to think of different types of activities that could help you to reach your dream. Once you have defined your outcomes, the next step is to start thinking about the outputs and project activities. What possible activities are needed to achieve the defined outcome, and what is the corresponding output? In this video, we have given you a quick overview of how you can design your project from impact to activities. In the Erasmus Plus Impacts Handbook, we refer to this approach as Approach 1. To summarize, we will give you some key tips for the steps in Approach 1. Step 1. Discuss your vision or dream with other stakeholders, for example in a workshop or a meeting. Step 2. Think about all the people, also called stakeholders, that need to change to make your dream a reality. Describe these changes in outcome statements. Step 3. Determine the outputs that will change the behavior of your stakeholders. Step 4. Describe what you will do. What are the activities? And step 5, check if it works. Make this a repetitive process. The key message of this video is that integrating impact into your project development starts from the very first design of your project. You can do this with 2 different approaches. In the first approach, you start by defining your vision or impact first. Then you define the behavioral changes needed to achieve this impact. And finally, you define your deliverables and design activities to bring about these changes. This is the approach highlighted in this video and preferred by the national agency. In the second approach, you start with your project idea or the activities, then you define which behavioral changes this will produce, and subsequently, the impacts at individual, organizational, or societal level to which these behavioral changes will contribute. After finishing this video, we encourage you to work on your dream or vision using the questions now shown on the screen. It doesn't have to be very detailed yet, as long as it represents your dream. After defining your vision or dream, try to come up with 1 or more outcome statements. Use the sentence on the screen as an example. Actor A does this or that differently, so that, and here you make a link with your dream. Then think of possible activities and outputs that can contribute to achieving your outcome. You can use the project design form to fill out your answers. Thank you for watching this video about defining impact in your project idea before your Erasmus Plus application. This video is complementary to Chapter 2 of the Impact Handbook and is part of a series of 4 videos. We recommend you now to watch the 3rd video of this video series. In that video, we will guide you through the steps on how to monitor and evaluate the impact of your project. Always consult the Erasmus Plus Programme Guide before applying for Erasmus Plus funding. The Programme Guide varies per call year and per version. Make sure to consult the most recent version for the correct call year.